Hello and welcome to the gun shop. We're here today to review the HW100 by Weihrauch. We have a small selection of what they have on offer here today. All of them are the carbine option. They seem to be the most popular option out of the two, the carbine and the rifle. And they're all the thumb hole option. Also, this is the most popular variant, the carbine thumb hole. We have a walnut edition, ever popular. We have the laminate adjustable comb edition with the comb that will go up, down, forward, back and do whatever you want. And we have this, the latest offering, the synthetic edition, probably a little bit less popular than the others. And we're going to talk through each of these as we go along. In fact, we're going to start with the stocks. Stocks options. You have this, the walnut thumb hole. You also have a walnut sporter, however, the grip on it is just a little bit big for most hands. It can feel a little bit uncomfortable. Where it's still quite square, it just feels like, you know, you're strangling a goat. It's a bit odd. So, you have here the thumb hole. Thumb through the middle. We see a lot of people with their thumb sort of put down the side, which is fine. And some people choose to sort of carve a bit out, which is probably the best option, so you can have a thumbs up position shooting rest. But as it is, as factory, thumb goes through the side, and away you go. Very popular, not particularly heavy piece of walnut. The only problem with Weihrauch's walnut is they do vary an awful lot, so you'll end up with a piece like this, which to be quite honest is probably one of the least exciting pieces of walnut I've ever seen in my life. And you have stuff that comes out like a piece I can't really show you because I've got none here, but will look like the most beautiful piece of exhibition grade walnut. That, I'm afraid, is luck of the draw. Keep your eyes open. If you're that fussy, wait. Just be patient. Something nice always comes along. However, make sure you're nice to whoever you're buying it from, and they'll put it to one side for you. However, nice pieces of walnut on HW100s are in high demand, and they're always worth a bit of money, second hand on eBay or other auction sites are available. Moving on, this is the latest offering. This is the synthetic stocked option. Green synthetic with black rubberized inserts and an adjustable butt pad. Proved not to be particularly popular. There's something about the green colour, it's just a little bit lackluster, that's not a bad word, a little bit uninteresting, certainly. It feels a bit cheap. I mean, that's the honest part of it, it feels a bit cheap. And on Weihrauch's reputation of being these big, heavy, super reliable rifles in the HW100, they just seem to have skimmed a little bit. And I've said a lot of people who were wanting it were a little bit disappointed, which is a shame. However, a real nice option, very, very lightweight. The only thing I would say is it does make it a little bit nose heavy in holding, whereas this walnut is very, very nice. This leads on to the final option, the laminate. For those who don't know what laminate is, it's individual sheets of wood, dyed wood in this case, and then they're resin injected under high pressure with plastic, essentially, resin. So you end up with plastic with wood inside. Waterproof, weatherproof, heavy, solid, really quite a nice bit of kit actually. Weighs a bit more than the other two, but that's also because you have an adjustable comb, so you've got a bit of metal work in there. This top comb here comes up, forward, back and left, so on and so forth. Those are your stock options. I should also mention at this point there is two lengths available. What we have in front of us is the carbine. This is a 310mm barrel, and then you have the full length, which I believe is a 410mm barrel, so it's an extra 100mm, 4 inches. You get a few more shots, certainly you're running about 100 shots, whereas in these models you're running about 60. However, proving ever unpopular apart from for the bench rest boys because that front end weight doesn't really help. There's not much accuracy to be gained, all you're adding is front end weight. Keeps these lovely little compact rifles at the top of the game, really. Let's thin them out and have a little closer look at the metalwork side of it. So, the metalwork, the action, what makes the HW100 the HW100 is this block here. This is actually a 3-part block. I'm going to start with the trigger. The trigger is detachable from the rest of it, is a full match grade trigger. 2-stage, I say full first stage, and you hit the second stage there, and that is for the adjustment. I'm just going to dry fire it just to sort of explain so we get a bit of tension. So you pull it back, hit the first stage, and there you go, you can hear it click away. Brilliant triggers, immensely adjustable. If you look in the bottom here, you can see there's a trigger adjuster in the back and there's one in the front, so you can adjust both stages. You can make them with a bit of playing, a little bit of fettling. Absolutely and utterly superb. However, out of the box they're a perfect sort of hunting grade trigger really. This trigger is run by this safety catch here. That is the safety catch. This safety catch does not work until you cock it. And there you go. White is for safe, red is for dead, red is for safe, not safe, red is for fire. To decock the rifle, lever back, pull the trigger, and that will just drop the hammer forward there. All this time, probably missed the main point, this rifle is not bolt action, it's side lever operated. Side lever comes back, goes forward, bang, back, forward, bang. What makes this rifle so smooth, let's decock it, is the fact that actually, although the cocking of the rifle is done on both motions, so it comes all the way back till it clicks, not engage your trigger, and as you push forward, nobody ever really notices, this is when you are sort of compressing your spring as such. Delightful, really, very delightful. This is what keeps the rifle feeling smooth and silky, unlike some of the other ones where you're having to wrench the bolt back like nothing else and you're actually really having to put a lot of effort in. This rifle is just smooth as silk. And actually, the new rifles aren't quite so good, but once they're worn in, they leave you feeling very satisfied after every cocking, to be fair. Moving on, we have this. This is the indexing mechanism. The indexing mechanism, as we can see, indexes the rifle every time we cock it. The good thing about this is it is done on cocking, so if you do that, you do it again and again and again, you will not put more than one pellet into your breech. It is of course possible if you're a bit unfortunate, however it's not like we get an awful lot of I can't really say names, but Weihrauch's competitors come in with a lot of pellets shoved up the barrel. I've had 2 today, for example. Because you keep going for gold when you run out of gas, this particular model, it leaves you feeling a little bit safer and more secure. So, the magazine, which is here, is a single piece of metal, 2 O-rings to retain the pellets into it, ratchet on the back and a flat face. Flat front, FF, keeps you nice and easy, flat forward, ratchet comes back, lever comes back, this drops into the side, the ratchet goes into place. Always align it, because I have had a few customers ram the side lever forward onto a not improperly aligned magazine that will bend your bolt, which is an expensive mistake. Bolt goes forward and away you go. And let's just decock that and you can watch the magazine. I'm just going to mark on it, it's a second-hand mag. Go round. If we do it again, it doesn't go round. So to remove it, you could put your lever back, this goes back, this comes out. It really is as simple as that. So the trigger is fantastic. This side lever operation is fantastic, which leads us on to the third component part of this, sort of the main block part of the rifle, the working parts is this. This is the gas work. In here you have a little valve there. This is what the hammer hits. In here, down at the bottom, underneath all this, you have a little regulator. The regulator is tiny, and you have a tiny little valve that connects with the bottle. This goes into a pre-chamber, the hammer hits it, and the valve lets the gas run through into the barrel. As simple as can be. It's a very, very, very simple and compact system. Very little to go wrong. Anytime there is any problems, you can diagnose them very, very easily. You know, this is nice. We like things that work. Things that work for us quite well, obviously. As much as we love fixing guns and it does pay some of our wages, there is a point in time where you get a bit sick of seeing the same customer in the same gun. Weihrauchs do not break. An annual service, an 18 months or every other year, should keep them up and running. This leads us on to this. This is the cylinder, fully removable. This is what makes the rifles quite heavy. You get a little dust bung in the front of the cylinder. This just unscrews from the rifle thus. So you can carry a spare if that sort of thing is your style. However, for the most part, this is your cylinder. So you can then, the beauty of this is you can isolate whether this is leaking, the block is leaking, and actually find out where your leaks are very, very easily. So what you get with the gun is you get this, the fill probe. The fill probe goes into here. You fill the bottle up. This can obviously be done attached to the rifle. Fill it up, remove it, and the dust plug goes back in thus. Very, very simple, but very effective. Let's say valve bolts, you can remove it whilst full. It's probably one of the sturdiest things around. They can go back in there. Leads us on to the barrel. Weihrauch barrels, fantastic pieces of kit. It's only 310mm, so it's not a massive barrel, but it's certainly long enough to keep you accurate, and these rifles will shoot very, very well at sort of 50 yards quite adequately. The longer barrel does give you slightly more preference in pellet, so for example if you want to stabilise a few different pellets at slightly longer range, the longer barrel can give you that edge, but for the most part it's not such a big thing. Last but not least, working forward, we have this, the Weihrauch High Efficiency Sound Moderator. Brilliant sound mods, everyone tries to copy them but doesn't quite get there. Very well made, beautifully stamped with Weihrauch on the side just so you can see it's a genuine model. I believe they're best part of £60 now, and they come included in the price of the rifle. These rifles vary from £750 up to £850 depending on the model and so on and so forth. So they're not ridiculous money by comparison to a lot of things on the market today. They haven't really gone up in a long, long time. So why the Weihrauch? The HW100 has to be, in my opinion, one of the finest pieces of engineering on the airgun market today. Everything about it is just ever so delightful. Every moving part is just well made, well constructed. There's no part about it I would like to improve. I think that's the real big thing about it. I love working on them. I think they are just fantastic things to work with. In terms of reliability, they are so reliable. Accuracy, immensely accurate. Triggers, brilliant. Silencers, brilliant. Out of the box, everything. It's just really, really good. With it, you get 2 magazines, which is twice as many as you get with most of its competitors. You get a fill probe, you get 2 other bits of brass, one for filling the bottle off of the gun and one for emptying your bottle for long-term storage. I mean, you can't go too far wrong, really. But this would not be an honest review if we didn't, you know, rip a few holes in it. That's what we do like to do here at the gun shop. First things first, it's pretty boring looking. By comparison to a lot of rifles on the market today, FX Wildcat looks lovely. R10s look really radical, especially in their laminate model, just looks really gorgeous. Even, I think, you know, Hatsan Gladius, great looking rifle. These rifles do not spark anything particularly exciting or interesting to go off in your heart. However, I don't think they're a bad looking rifle to that effect, they're just not particularly interesting. Very ergonomic, very, very practical, very, very German in that sense. That's not racist, that's just a generalisation. Shot count, a terrible shot count. 60 shots on a bottle that size, that's old school really. You know, 10 years ago that was quite a good deal, but now the BSA Ultra gets more shots for a bottle half the capacity. The only beauty with this is it is removable. And there are aftermarket bottles available, the whole cartridge, do not recommend them. But you know, it's a great way to double your shot count if you want to stick an FX bottle on there or something, or buddy bottle conversion, you get yourself 200 shots, maybe more. That's pretty much the only bad things I can think about it. It's not the prettiest looking rifle in the world, and the shot count is low. However, in reality, practical reality, you do not go out and shoot more than 50 or 60 shots. If you're out ratting, maybe more, but if you shot 50 or 60, go back to the car, fill up off your tank, pump it up with a foot pump. It'll take 5 minutes and you probably earned it if you killed that many. Right. That's pretty much it. I can't praise it enough. I can't really knock it massively. The only thing I can say is it's not cutting edge. They've been making it more or less the same for the last 12 years. Every little they have a lot of updates. The originals are not the same as these. The ones back from 2005, 2006 are not the same as these. The concept is, however, exactly the same. It's the beauty of the modular system is where it is for me. I suppose that it's more from a working point of view. However, I feel like the fact that everything is separable, ongoing reliability is high. It means that you're not having a trigger unit that is somehow intricately linked into your bolt action or side lever unit. They are separate. You just go, let's bolt that off. Yeah, that's fine. So on and so forth. You can send it off, get upgrades, and there's a few upgrades you can do internally to these. Externally, we've said new bottles, new stocks, and that will make your rifle look absolutely beautiful. Get it engraved, get it sprayed pink. I don't really mind. There's a lot of options out there. However, as a rifle for going out, pest control at your home, something a bit more serious high-level target shooting, they're good enough for that. Blinking, great for that. Shooting pigeons in your garden, we said that, but that's because they're doubly as good for that as they are for everything else. Awesome rifles. Other little downside is they are quite heavy. However, in the carbine they're very manageable, very well balanced weight. and I say things are heavy, people complain about weight, but then they stick these monster scopes on top of their rifles that weigh best part of 2 kilos, so it can't be that much of an issue. Generally beautiful rifles, great work Weihrauch, continue to improve, like with all things. I'm sure they will keep issuing these little updates, little valve updates, little internal things you will never see the difference on, but I'd rather they spent money and time inside than they did it on the outside. And I suppose that's as honest as I can get.